TV meteorologists do more than just forecast and present the weather during the nightly news. Many are required to be news reporters as well. So we've added a section to the second of our 3 weather communications courses here at Penn State to train our students on how to research, write, and produce science stories using topics from the Climate Central website. Tonight, we're thrilled to show you the work by 3 students from this past spring's class.
From fishing on a warm summer day to enjoying its delicious taste, people all around the world take part in the $46 billion fishing industry at some point each year. With surface temperatures rising 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit since 1900, our changing climate has negatively impacted this industry. Streams, rivers, and lakes rely on the snowpack to cool the water. As we see less snowfall year after year, waterways will warm at an accelerated rate. Fish are heavily dependent on the temperature of the water, as they need to be in specific temperature ranges in order to survive. Streams, rivers, and lakes throughout the U.S., notably in the Southeast and Great Lakes region, have seen about a 1.5 degree Fahrenheit increase in water temperatures, which results in fish having to migrate to cooler waters. But unfortunately, they can only travel so far before they are left to adapt or die. Rising temperatures also result in the increased frequency of heavy rainfall, which causes runoff that washes pollutants into our waterways. Rising water temperatures and increased heavy rainfall creates a perfect habitat for algae to grow, which produces toxins that can clog fish gills or reduce the amount of oxygen in the water. Warmer waters can also make fish more vulnerable to parasites and diseases. A study conducted in Pennsylvania showed that a parasite caused by warming waters is contributing to the decline of the smallmouth bass in the Susquehanna River, weakening their immune systems and giving them open sores and lesions, allowing for the infection to spread. The economy created by the fishing industry will have to adapt to changes in our climate. Fishermen will struggle to plan trips when fish are biting, and businesses will have to further adapt to these changes in order to provide equipment and licenses to customers. Fortunately, some areas around the country have already started to mitigate drastic effects within the industry, such as New York and Montana, where they have restricted or even suspended freshwater fishing when hot water and high temperatures are stressing the fish. So the next time you go out on a fishing trip, or eat that fish dinner at the table, think about what you could do to mitigate the effects of climate change. From the Penn State Department of Meteorology and Atmospheric Science, I am Sarah Stengel.
Spring flowers may be beautiful, but for those with seasonal allergies, they cause plenty of discomfort too. The flower's pollen can be seen creating a blanket that coats every outside surface, from the grass to tables and even people, and this blanket isn't getting any thinner. In fact, pollen in North America has been getting worse every year. The increase in pollen is both a higher concentration and a larger amount. For example, one study showed grass pollen levels doubled in only a few years. According to research from Columbia University, rising temperatures due to climate change are the primary cause of the pollen epidemic. Human industry has put more carbon in the atmosphere, which causes more heating of the earth and lengthens the growing seasons. The increase in CO2 also makes plants grow more efficiently, which then produces more pollen. Penn State professor Colin Zarzicki says people are going to start noticing the effects.
It's really accelerated over the last 20 years, so people kind of feel it in their day-to-day lives.
For example, the growing season has lengthened by almost a week in many Midwestern states. This makes the allergy season longer and more intense, and the pollen does not affect everyone equally. Lower income and minority communities have higher rates of asthma due to housing with poor ventilation, which is worsened by increased pollen. Without mitigation, this problem will not get better. The climate has already changed, and without mitigation, these problems will only get worse.
To be honest, we probably also need to be investing a little bit in terms of adaptation. We've kind of committed to having a different climate than the climate, for example, our grandparents grew up with.
Leaving climate change unchecked will help cause an increase in respiratory health problems that disproportionately affect minority communities. So spring flowers may be beautiful, but some people may be too sick to see it. From the Department of Meteorology and Atmospheric Science at Penn State, I'm Dana Osgood.
Electric vehicles, or EVs, present a supercharged solution to combat climate change. With no exhaust produced, they seem like the greener option.
Recently, there has been a spark in the electric vehicle market, and now there are more options than ever before for EVs. In the United States, transportation produces the most greenhouse gas emissions of any sector. And now, due to the Paris Climate Agreement, EVs need to make up the majority of vehicle sales by 2030. The Paris Climate Agreement is a global climate treaty which aims to reduce greenhouse gas emissions around the world. EV adoption will help improve air quality, lessening health problems attributed to the pollution. But there are still some barriers out there that are preventing consumers from buying electric cars. One is range anxiety, or the fear of running out of battery charge while driving somewhere. As of 2020, the EV market had a minimum range of 110 miles per charge and a maximum of 402 miles per charge. The other is the price difference between EVs and traditional engine vehicles. They are more expensive and sometimes not affordable. Most car brands are creating electric options, and some are more affordable, including the cheapest being offered at an MSRP of $27,400. With all of the positives for EVs and climate change, there are some negatives. First, fossil fuels are still used when producing the electricity needed to charge the car in some instances. In order to completely cut out fossil fuels, EVs need to be charged by solar, wind, or other renewable and clean resources. Another downfall is the fact that most EVs are powered by lithium-ion batteries. Lithium-ion batteries contain raw materials like lithium and cobalt, which when mined have negative environmental impacts. Also, these batteries are only around 5% recyclable. Electric vehicles provide a tangible solution to help combat climate change, but there is still some work needed to be done before they're the shocking majority of vehicles out there. From the Penn State Department of Meteorology, I'm Caroline Castora.